And welcome to Nerdstalker. I am Adolfo Ferranda at Nerdstalker on Twitter at nerdstalker.com with a very special guest, and I will not even attempt his name. Please. And you are.
Hi, Alfonso. My name is I am Jon von Tetzchner.
Nice, Jan. Thanks so much. So Jan, I'm really honored to have you on the show. I've been an early user, and this is a little before the users can even, and the viewers and the listeners even grok. I've been a long time Opera user since the early days, the first day you guys released anything in the States or anything. And I'm an old school technologist as well. So it's great to talk to you.
Great.
So Jan, can we talk? We're here to talk about what's happening with you now, what I'm calling the next generation of browsers myself, Vivaldi. Can you tell me more about it and our listeners and viewers?
Yeah, I mean, our feeling has been with the browsers today is that they've been moving in the same directions where they're simplifying, right?
Right.
They're trying to be as easy to use as possible, and they remove all features that are not widely used. The problem with that, if you're thinking about a tool that you're spending hours each day with, actually having additional functionality, having flexibility makes a lot of sense, because it can be worthwhile to learn a couple of extra tricks to be able to work a lot more efficient with your browser.
Right.
So,
and so we
really
have
where our focus is. Yes.
Please continue, Jan. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the point with what we are doing is, again, we are thinking that given the amount of time you spend with your browser, actually having a fair amount of functionality and different ways to do it, we're all individuals, that we all have different requirements, and actually having a browser that adapts to you instead of just moving and isn't used by a significant part of the population. Instead, if you request something, in general, we'll do our best to add it. So we add a lot of features based on the feedback from, and through that, we're obviously adding really a lot of functionality and a lot of flexibility. For example, I mean, with tab handling, a lot of us have a lot of tabs open. Being to deal with that in a nice way, things like being able to start where you left off, being able to undelete tabs that you delete, being able to, if you have a lot of tabs, they can get cramped. So we introduce tab stacking to be able to show have groups of tabs. And
right.
then, I mean, there's just a lot of functionality, spend hours, and I mean, what you'd like to spend on each of these functions, and there's a lot of very advanced functionality built into Vivaldi. That's for sure.
Yeah, I really almost did not know where to begin, because there's just so much functionality with Vivaldi. As you're seeing on the screen right now, for those that are watching the show, there's so many features, and it's so customizable. And right now, so we're looking at tab layouts. There's a note-taking feature, as we saw, which was great. Tab stacking, as Jan mentioned. Theming as well, which is really cool. And what really struck me too are these this notion of quick commands, which looks really powerful. And Jan, I would love for you to sort of expand on when you have a moment. And also for your technologists out there, they're using JavaScript and React to create the UI with the help of Node and a long list of NPM modules, and it's Vivaldi, they say, is the web built with the web, and it truly looks like it. I'm calling it, again, they're getting a lot of hype from the press, and looks like it's multi-platform as well. Several different platforms you can run Vivaldi on.
Yeah, I mean, we run on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and then we have mobile versions in the works. So really, so you download Vivaldi, and you notice it's more colorful. It has it looks fresh, and I think one of the things that we do there, because it's web based, we can make it look as good as a lot of the web pages out there. I think software in some ways is not having the kind of look and the swoosh that you have when you're looking at the best web pages out there, and designers that have been spending a lot of time details here and really making something that's out of the ordinary when it comes to browsing. And I mean, using the web technology to build it, it allows our developers to work really fast. You can have designers that go in and change the look and feel of the browser very rapidly without having to recompile and the like. So it's really a lot of power built in there. And then again, recognizing that people have different opinions. I mean, I talked about the tabs. I think I can spend a little bit more time on the tabs functionality. We talked about the tab stacking. We have something called tab stack tiling.
Oh, wow.
Which the basic idea, a number of us are getting bigger screens. We're getting screens that are 20 inch sometimes and bigger. We're getting screens that are 4K, 5K. And a browser doesn't really use those really well. But with Vivaldi, if you use the tab stack tiling, you can have pages side by side. And if you have a number of these tab stacks, you can move between them. And it's kind of like having a number of desktops.
Right.
So it's a way of organizing your data. It's really about putting you in charge of your browsing. I mean, so that's with the tab handling here, and the details as well. Some people, they have wide screens. They'd like to have the tabs on the left or right side. Some people have smaller screens, so they'd like to get the tabs out of the way, but still have the tab functionality. You can do that. There's details to that. You can use the keyboards to control the browser and the functionality. You can use mouse gestures. There's different ways depending on how you like to work.
It's awesome.
Personally, I like. Thank you. I mean, I like single key keyboard shortcuts,
yes.
right? So you have to enable that. It's an advanced function. So you have to go into the settings and do that. But if you use, like I do, set and X to go back and forth in history,
yes,
it's a lot faster than moving your mouse and clicking some arrow. The same thing, 0 and 9, 6 to zoom to 100%, things like that. It's just an efficiency question. It just makes you or play a lot more efficient when you're on the internet. And
right.
Our belief is that people have different opinions on how this should work, and that work is to adapt to your requirements.
That's really wonderful. A lot of our viewers and listeners out there, they are, they're technologists, developers, they're designers, UX designers, they're small business owners, and they're productivity experts, right? So everything you touched on is definitely getting them very excited. I've talked to a couple different designers and developers about Vivaldi just within the last 48 hours, and we're like, why didn't we know about this? This is awesome. Look at all these different features and things like that. So we're really excited to get the word out, and that you guys are getting the word out right now with it. What is, as much as you can share, the go forward plan for Vivaldi?
I mean, we continue working with our community, and in a lot of what we are doing, we're working with the community to get people's feedback on what they want us to do next. I mean, there's certain big features that we're working on. We're working, for example, on an email client. That's something that's coming in a later
That's
version.
exciting.
Now,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us have multiple mail accounts, and then we have all kinds of ways to deal with it. We have multiple tabs where we'll go and log into one account and then a second account and a third account. Instead, having everything through a single interface is a lot more efficient. So that's something that we are doing and we're working on that will be coming later. And then there's a mobile version and the like. Something that's closer in time is the history function. It's another new feature that is coming 1.8, so inside the next couple of weeks. And if you can't wait, you can go and download a snapshot. And the idea there is, this is typically, we're not just coming with new features out as normal, but we're also looking at, okay, is there a feature that's been neglected? And the feeling that we have is one feature that definitely has been neglected is the history. Most browsers, you have just a history that you can search. It's a list.
Wow.
So in our case, if you download the latest snapshot, you can choose to, a list like that, or you can have a calendar view, for example. You can see it over the month. You want to see how much time you're spending each day on. You write Facebook, and it shows you for each day how much time you're spending. It shows a nice graph, how you're using it, what time of the day you're, things like that. This is all based on data locally on your computer. That's creepy. We don't want to know what you're doing on your computer.
Right.
That's your business.
Yeah.
We value your privacy. But on the other hand, for you to be able to look at your data and see it presented in the way that you like, I think that's useful. I mean, there's all these people out there that are looking at your data. You should have at least some level of information about your browsing. And it also helps you to find your way around, right?
Right.
Maybe there was a day last week, sometime, you don't remember which day it was or what it was. You were browsing a lot on a certain site, and then there was an interesting article. If you can look at it in that context, that helps you to find what you're looking for. So you don't have to do all the searching and all the work that you did to find that particular article.
Wow. There's
so
much,
a lot of things like that. There's a history coming.
There's so much to go into.
There's a lot there.
There's so much detail there. I assume, the casual user is going to love this. They're probably going to only touch maybe 5% of what you can do. But as I said, for those of us that want to go deeper into it, it looks like it's extremely extensible. Can you talk about these commands, this command line type of thing that's happening?
Yeah, so the quick command, the idea there is that, again, you have the different ways of accessing the different commands in the browser. And one of them is command line. Some of us feel really at home there. So being able to just open the command line window, enter a tab, part of the tab title, and go there, or performing some kind of operation. In the future, we are going to put in ways so you can actually program your own macros and things like that and put in there. So it gets to be extremely powerful. And then you can tie those macros and the like to keyboard shortcuts. So we're going to make this programmable. We're going to, all of this is about putting the power in your hands, so you can do things that you'd like to do. And again, some people love the quick command. Some people like the keyboard shortcuts. We will continue to evolve all of them, so they are efficient for you as they can be.
Very exciting. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. A couple of my developer friends were asking, make sure to ask them about the connection with Opera and how things spawned off into Vivaldi.
Sure. I mean, obviously, I was co-founder of Opera and CEO for 15 years, and I quit the company out of basically disagreement with investors about I did that CEO in 2010 and quit the company fully in 2011. And after that, the idea was, okay, I'll continue Opera. There's a lot of my friends there, and I was just thinking, okay, there's something else. I'll try something else. I've been doing browsers for 17 years. Opera decided to change the design philosophy, going for the simplification like the other browsers. And there was a lot of people disappointed with that choice. A lot of people that have been using Opera for years were suddenly not finding the browser that they used to have. And a lot of people were contacting me and asking, so can you do something about this? Can you connect with Opera, get them? Do you have any sway on this?
Right.
And I didn't really have that. So there was a question, okay, what do we do now? And the feeling that we had, Opera was moving in the same direction as all the other vendors in the market. All of them were going for the simplification. Well, I think, again, given the amount of people that really are spending their life on the internet, having a browser that can do more out of the box efficiently makes sense. So we were a team. We set out to do this, and we've been working on the browser since 2013, and with the first release in April. So it's a passion. We want to make sure that all those people that were helping us at Opera, all those people that really liked what we are doing, that were supporting us all those years, we want them back. So we're giving them a browser, which is why we have this slogan, we are building a browser for our friends. Similarly, anyone else that just wants a decent browser that is not things as dumb as possible, but will take into consideration requirements from anyone.
Let's talk about so you do have friends all over the globe for sure, and we're all very excited, as I keep sort of reiterating here on the sort of introduction, if you will, for Vivaldi to the masses, sort of now that this word is getting out even more than before. Let's talk about the team. You're talking about team. We see that a lot of it for viewers here. You can see the team in a lot of it is overseas for us. It's in Norway, right? In Finland and various places. Can you talk about the team?
Well, I mean, a lot of the team members are in Norway, and this is natural. I mean, Opera was it was a Norwegian company, so it's very natural for us. A lot of those people have worked at Opera before, so they have a background, and obviously it helps us to hit the ground running by having a group of people that actually has done it before. So a lot of the people are former Opera people. There's a group in Iceland. I'm born in Iceland myself. And it was natural for me to look at the idea of having people on the ground there. So that's what we did. And then we have a few people here and there in the world. We have a few here in the US, and we have a few people in, like you mentioned, in Finland, in Czech Republic, in Russia, and the like. So we're a bit distributed. We're trying to keep things, though, mostly in Oslo and in Iceland, with a bit of a team in.
That's quite a testament to be able to keep and retain, the people. That's shows quite a bit of commitment there.
Yeah, I mean, we are on a mission, right? The team, all those people that are coming together, they really want to build a great product. We have a special relationship with our users, and I mean, there's something special about getting the kind of feedback that we're getting, and they're really cheering us on, and they're helping us. I mean, we actually have hundreds of volunteers that are helping us in their spare time, and we're really thankful. These are helping us test, which means that we are putting out daily versions, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Builds every day, but we typically send one build to the volunteers. The volunteers help us test out, give us feedback on features. They also help us translate. We have more than 50 languages supported.
Wow.
And this is to the user, so you get the program in your language. We then send out typically about weekly to the wider community on vivaldi.net. We put it in our blog there, and we send out the versions, and typically some tens of thousands of people will then download and out the bleeding edge of the program, which allows us to, again, get more feedback. So any feature that we put in is vetted through multiple runs internally, so we don't send out something that people are just not going to like, and then we gradually improve on it based on the feedback that we're getting. So it's a kind of a rapid prototyping approach, but it allows us to get something out that has been vetted, that people. So when we send out the final releases, which we are doing every 6 weeks or so release, it is something that has a level of polishedness and just works well.
Nice. So Jon, this seems to be a next, almost a version 2.0 of Jon here. Let's talk about the lessons that you learned, and what have you done differently this time that you didn't do last time, and what kind of advice you can give to entrepreneurs and people starting new projects, etc.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, in many ways, there's a lot of similarities. We're doing a lot of things similarly as we were doing before, but doubling down on it in some ways. I mean, one of the first person to join the team was Anne Stavnes, as an example of that. She was a very important person in building that community inside the company. I mean, we're kind of like a family, and we do things a bit differently here. I mean, part of the thing, we are distributed. So how do we make that work? We have gatherings. We have a gathering in the US in June. We gather in Iceland. We gather in Norway. In the US, we have this old mansion from 1880. With 18 bedrooms, so we show up there. People show up with their families. It awesome. Makes for a really great atmosphere to work. Great. So during the day we work. During the afternoon, people go and stay at the beach or grill, and because it's a longer period, a few weeks, it gets to be a really good bonding exercise, not only for the employees but also for their family. So this is part of this. Working with the community in the way we do, we did that at Opera as well. There is one thing that's really different, though.
Mm-hmm.
When we started Opera, I mean, we started with $6,000 in starting capital, which lasted for 5 years, and then we got investors in, and we went public. So we went through. I mean, we were quite late to get the money, but we did get the money. But with the money, there were issues, right?
Right.
We had investors that really wanted to sell the company, and that created a difficult. We were kind of having this fight, which is kind of crazy. You're building a company, you're getting a lot of users, we're generating revenues and the like, but we always that wanted to sell the company. Says that we don't have any other investors.
Right.
The company is funded by me, and all the staff are owners. And that's the way we like it. We don't want to go public. We don't want to go. We don't want any other investors. We just want to focus on one thing. And I really think, I mean, that's the important thing, is to ensure, if you're building a company, that all the team wants to do the same thing. And if you're getting investors, are the investors sharing your enthusiasm? Do they want to go in the same direction as you want to go? Are you building the product for the right reasons? Is it because you want to make a difference, because you're building a product, or you want to make a buck? And I think if you want to make a buck, it can work, but I really think if you want to succeed, you have to be passionate about it. You really want to do this. And so for me, you have to have the passion. In our case, again, the money is not the reason for doing this. We obviously hope and believe that the company is going to be very successful and that we'll get a return on our investment. But the reality, we're doing this because we think it's the right thing. We think there's a need for this product. There's a need for a browser that's different. There's a need for a design philosophy which puts the user first. And there's no compromise on that. And that's what we believe in. That's why we are doing this. We hope that we will be able to have the kind of impact on the web that we did at Opera. I think we had a significant impact on the web, helping write the web standards like HTML5, CSS, and the like, bringing a lot of people onto the internet that otherwise would not have been on the internet with Opera Mini and the like, and generally adapting to the requirements of the user. And that's the philosophy that we are following on with Vivaldi. And we think we can make a difference, and our goal is to make a difference here.
That's great. So Jon, you've been in this game for quite some time too. And so you've seen, as you sort of touched on, what was possible back then. Everyone, as you said, was, running to sell their company, to take on as much investment as possible. I've seen a pattern where oftentimes the advice to a lot of these startups and entrepreneurs is now don't take money. Do as much as you can on your own, and that is a big trend now. And a lot of the goal is not going IPO and that type of sentiment. But not only that, technologically, we seem to be so much more capable of things, being able to do things now with the advent of AWS and everything coming down in terms of cost. And business practices as well, like people, practicing agile practices and doing immediate releases and things like that. Is Vivaldi? Tell me how Vivaldi are, as you have to some degree. Can you tell me how Vivaldi's sort of your experience with all of those touch points, things with HTML5 even, and et cetera, the next generation of things?
Yeah, I think, clearly we are in the middle of this in many ways. We are definitely focusing very much on, it's the user first, it's the products first, and this principle of, if you're in that position, take outside money, that's a great situation. I think in reality, a lot of people are not in that position and they have to take outside money. And then the question is, are you able to find the right investors that will be with you and continue to go in the same direction that you want to go? This is really important, understanding the direction, that everyone is aligning on where they're going, and that they will be aligned when there is a decision point, whether that's, okay, there's a bid on the table, or you have to rethink some part of the strategy or the like. Are people going to be aligned all the way? And I think that's, you never know that until that point comes, but clearly ensuring that as much as possible people are aligned is extremely important. Now, you mentioned agile companies and the like, and clearly, yeah, being able to move quickly change how you work. Personally, I think any company that's a tech company needs to have really strong tech people in it. So building a tech company where all the hard work is done somewhere outsourced or the like, I think we know it works for some, but in general, I think that it's very important to have the competence inside the company, and that you have the right combination of qualifications, that you have people that are geeks. You need those to build the products, people that really burn for that, and then you need people that understand the other sides of the business. You need the balance to be able to move things forward. So the right balance in the team is extremely important. And again, this technology has moved forward, so you're able to do things quickly. Sometimes that also means that you do things in a way that you build prototypes, which is okay sometimes, but you also sometimes have to build products. That's a question of sometimes it requires more, sometimes it then also requires more money, and then you have no choice but to go to the investors. But again, if you're able to do this without investors, that's a great thing. If you're able to then also do it without having your mother and father and grandfather and grandmother and granduncle or whatever mortgage their houses, so in case your thing takes a little bit longer than planned, which is quite often it does, you have to be able to handle that as well. So it's a balancing act, right? Yeah. Even though you want to be brave and kind of go it all on your own, sometimes that's not a choice. So you have to know what is realistic to do. Right. And that's why, I mean, I can't really say always go without investors or always go with investors. You have to look at what is your situation and do the right thing for you.
Well, you've definitely got me and all of us definitely excited about what you guys are doing and what's coming up. I mean, you guys have thought of everything. So let's talk about the name Vivaldi, number one. How did that come to be? As well as the design. I see the logo is this really nice V. You guys even have a store now with really cool swag in terms of shirts and all this really neat stuff that I have to go. You got to go out and buy some of these shirts. They're really, really nice. So can you touch on some of those points?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the principle of the name, I mean, it has to. It was called opera, so I guess we didn't travel very far. But the principle of the name is to have a name that works internationally, right? And that's often. I mean, that was a decision that we went with opera. We wanted a soft that would work internationally, and there was something about that we felt better like an opera with the different parts. So that's how we ended up with the opera name. And then I guess there's similar thinking with regards to Vivaldi. We wanted a name that feels right. It's beautiful. You don't need to use a spell checker or something to find out how to spell it. I think almost everyone will be able to spell Vivaldi without too much difficulty. Yeah. So that's a good thing. And with the logo as well, we were going for simplicity. And we did that. I mean, it's we have the box, we have some really good designers. I mean, we're blessed with having fantastic they're building beautiful stuff, and the logo is one part of that. The initial logo was a designer on the outside that made, but the guys have been working on improving on that. It was a good design to start with, in my humble opinion, and it's only getting better.
Yeah. Well, Jon, I want to be respectful of your time. Are there any sort of parting thoughts you want to leave us?
I think what I really hope that you'll do is to go to Vivaldi, download the browser. Again, give it time. I think this is going to be a close friend, and with friends you need to give them time. You need to listen, and you need to learn. You need to go to our site, download the browser, vivaldi.com. Go and hear what people are saying in our forums and read our blogs. Have a look at some videos that will help you get started with the browser, teaching you some of the functionality there. There's a lot of functionality. It's increasing. You don't need to know it all to use the browser. You gradually start in one corner. You'll have an idea. I wish this was possible. It already is. If it's not, let us know, and we'll put it in there. Our goal is to make sure that you are happy with the browser we build, and so let us know what you want, and we'll add it. That's what we try to do. We can't add everything at the same time, And if you have a feature that's going to take us a year to implement, and you're the only one that wants to use it, it's probably not going to be highest on our list. But generally, we aim to please. And we have this very, very, very special relationship with our users, and we want to do everything we can to make them happy with what we do. And I think you're seeing that happen.
So Jon, where can we listeners and viewers contact you or Vivaldi as well in terms of all the whatever you want to share, phone number, emails, social media, all that stuff?
Well, I mean, the easiest thing is to go to vivaldi.com. So you go to vivaldi.com and you can download the browser. We have vivaldi.net as well, which is our community site, which is linked from vivaldi.com. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us on Twitter. There are some phone numbers on there as well, but I think it's normally more easy just to go find us in the community, make a post on the forums, connect with us on Twitter. I mean, these channels work really well. We really want to give everyone an answer. So if you go in there and connect with us, we are there to listen. But again, try out the browser. I believe anyone that spends enough time with this browser is going to like it.
For sure.
So,
all right. Thanks, everyone. And make sure to check it, vivaldi.com. I am Adolfo Fronda at Nerdstalker on Twitter. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening out there. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe on YouTube. And on iTunes, give us, the old good rating if you could. We appreciate your time. All right, everyone. See you next time.